I still remember the way they looked at me, with that mix of contempt and disbelief, as if I'd lost my mind. My family, the ones I'd grown up trusting, laughed behind my back, called my dream pointless, ridiculous, and worse, an embarrassment. They told me I'd never make it, that I was wasting my life on a foolish idea, that I'd end up alone, misunderstood, and bitter. And when I finally dared to tell them I was going to start a sign language theater troupe, an inclusive space for deaf and hearing impaired performers, they scoffed. My father said, "You're wasting your time. Who cares about sign language? This is just a phase. You're wasting your life on something that will never go anywhere." My mother looked away, shaking her head like I'd already failed before I'd even begun. My siblings? They teased me, called me the silent girl, the dreamer who will never wake up. That day I was cast out from my own home, not physically, but emotionally. Their words cut deeper than any slap could. I was told I was an embarrassment, a fool. And for a moment, I wonder, maybe I was chasing shadows, a pointless dream that would only lead to disappointment. But I couldn't turn back. My heart refused to let go of the idea that this silent storytelling was my voice. It was the only way I knew how to connect, to heal, to give voice to those who couldn't speak. So I left, carrying their dismissive words like a scar and a spark. I poured every ounce of myself into that dream. I practiced tirelessly, learning the nuances of sign language, finding performers who shared my passion, fighting skepticism at every turn. The journey was brutal. Rejections, setbacks, moments when I wondered if I was just fooling myself. But I kept going, driven by a belief that art, silent, powerful art, could break barriers and forge bonds stronger than words. Years passed. The troupe grew. Our performances became more than just acts. They became movements. We performed in abandoned theaters, in schools, in community centers, anywhere that would listen. Slowly, we proved that inclusion wasn't just a lofty ideal, but a living, breathing reality. Our audiences transformed from skeptical to inspired, from dismissive to captivated. And then the breakthrough came. We were invited to perform at a major arts festival, an event that drew thousands. Our show was a raw, visceral experience. No words, only expressive gestures, powerful body language, and silent storytelling that pierced straight into the soul. The deaf performers, the hearing allies, the community, all united in a shared language of emotion. The applause was thunderous, the standing ovation overwhelming. I had done it. I had built something real, something lasting. I had proved everyone wrong. But I knew the true test wasn't just the applause. It was in their faces when they saw what I'd become. So I returned home, not as the silent girl they dismissed, but as someone who had transformed barren land into a thriving ecosystem of hope and inclusion. I brought with me stories of struggle, resilience, and undeniable triumph. I wanted them to see what their words had almost destroyed, and what love and perseverance had built instead. The day I arrived, my family was there, gathered in the old living room, the same room where their ridicule had once echoed loudly. I could feel their eyes on me, a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. I didn't need to say a word. I just stepped forward, and with a gentle smile, I signaled my opening piece. The room fell silent, not with awkwardness, but with awe. I performed with all I had, gestures that told stories of pain, hope, and unity. My deaf performers, my family, watched spellbound. Their eyes widened as they saw the power of silent storytelling, the raw emotion conveyed without a single spoken word. When I finished, I looked directly at them. I signed, "This is who I am. This is what I stand for." A ripple of understanding passed through the room. My father's eyes shimmered with tears, something I'd never seen before. My mother's face softened, and for the first time, I saw pride replace their dismissiveness. My siblings looked at me differently, awestruck, maybe even a little ashamed. And that moment when they finally saw what I'd become was the most cathartic, transformative scene of my life. Because I realized then that their rejection had almost broken me, but it had also fueled my fire. It had driven me to prove that in the end, I learned something vital, that the cruelest rejection can become the greatest catalyst. That sometimes what's dismissed as pointless is actually the seed of something extraordinary. My family's words, once so sharp, now fade into the background, replaced by the truth of my journey. And as I stood there, feeling their eyes on me, I knew I had won, not through words, but through silent stories that spoke louder than anything spoken aloud. I had turned their doubts into my triumph, and in doing so, I healed the rift that once threatened to tear us apart. Today, I don't just tell stories. I build bridges, nurture hope, and remind everyone that sometimes the quietest voices carry the loudest truths, and that no matter how deep the wounds of dismissal, love, perseverance, and authenticity can rewrite the story. Because at the end of the day, the greatest success isn't fame or applause. It's the knowledge that you've stayed true to yourself, and that in doing so, you've changed the world around you.